is history, the future mystery. This moment is the gift.
Welcome. Oh, Miracle Makers, I'm so grateful that you are here with us today. I've got in studio my amazing, darling, extraordinary, handsome husband, Greg Larsen.
Welcome, Miracle Makers. So good to be in studio. So good to be on my date with my beautiful, lovely, amazing, awesome, intuitive, caring, loving wife.
Oh, so sweet. It's so beautiful for us to have you join us on our date and have you join us. We love and we've committed our relationship to be in service. So we always have some sort of intention or prayer that we are doing. And so we are bringing you in here. Oh my gosh, dear Miracle Makers. Dear God, dear Source, we're so grateful to be together and to be able to really express today the healing, the surrendering, and the intelligence that our emotional and physical wounds offer us. We're so grateful to be in UBN Studios at Sunset Gower Studios and to be able to create the greatest good that can come from our stories and the stories of all those that call in. Amen.
Amen.
It's such an honor to really, we're in season 3 in Miracle Makers in UBN Studio, and it's such an honor to walk the halls of the Sunset Gower Studios. As a kid, on like special occasions, the television set that we had in my grandparents' home, the covering would come off and we would start, we'd all sit down and we'd start watching black and white television coming United States, Egypt, Sinbad, amazing movies, amazing shows, the Benny Hill show coming in on this television all the way in Pakistan. And today I get to walk these hallways. Today I get to produce this show, be here, host it, co-host it with my husband, go out on dates. And really, it's such an expanding space to be in. It wasn't always this way. There was a time in my life that I was so wounded and I felt such exorbitant amounts of guilt and shame and such an amazing, so difficult to overcome the traumas and the memories of those traumas that I'd given up on love. I'd given up on my dream of having kids and having a family. I'd given up on the things that mattered most to me personally. What I was working on when I was really, really wounded was just being of service and really wanting to show up somewhere as valuable. And it's so extraordinary. My wounding, being wounded, got me through medical school. It was also the miracle frequency, but also really, really being wounded. My whole story, my whole life included, please God, let me serve, or please Source, please Universe, let me show up some way balanced enough to give to another. And it's such a beautiful space to sit in studio and share with you stories and share with you this delicious relationship with my husband, and to share with you that you, if me, a little village girl with a learning disorder, could bring my dreams to life, could really truly do something that's valuable, and on purpose. There's really nothing you can't do. And I want to start by sharing, this is such a profound quote that I've found with Rumi. For those of us that are wounded, and people that are wounded, it's really important for you to maybe take what you're watching this on and share this broadcast with them right now. The sharing of the broadcast can really, truly transform someone's life. This next quote that I'm about to read, this Rumi quote, can really, truly make a difference. People that are wounded, some that are born early, preemie babies, and I was a preemie baby, so I know this from the inside out. We're more sensitive. Science is catching up with all of the things that most of the intuitives know, like Louise Hay, Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, the Ayurvedic medicine, the Siddha medicine, Hippocrates. Babies were always being saved when they were premature. In these places, premature babies are more sensitive. And this quote right here could really help someone that's sensitive, is wounded, and really, truly gain confidence to go follow their dreams. So for all of us, this said by Rumi, there is a secret medicine given only to those who hurt so hard they can't hope. The hopers would feel slighted if they knew. And there was really a point in my life that I was hopeless, really, truly hopeless. And what kept me going was this secret medicine, this secret connection to something deeper. And if you are breathing, if you are feeling and hearing this, and you know that you're wounded, there is a secret medicine that's only given to you. I love Maya Angelou's words. They've given me such hope over the years in reading them with the words, still I rise. People in your life, emotionally, spiritually, physically, may cause harm. And this poem by her, and still I rise, that self-talk, that is part of the secret sauce. That's some of the medicine. Whatever another human does to you, it comes from a wounded place. When you fully understand that, and when I met Greg, and when he shared with me, be here now, be in the current moment, get present to now, I could start being able to really look at my wounds and see them as a place where the light comes in and enters you. That's also another beautiful saying by Rumi. So you've got physical wounding. So the definition of a wound as a noun is it's an injury that's happened to your body, an injury that requires a physical response. You've got wound as a verb, where it's really to inflict pain. And humanity as a whole has been so lost for so long. And right now, allopathic medicine is showing us that when we relate to or feel wounded, when we have a broken heart, when we experience the moment as something negative, we will create in that moment more or less blood flowing to our brain and more blood flowing to our bodies. When you feel wounded, when you feel hurt, when you think about a past sensation or a past hurting that happened, it's incredible what happens for you. Your brain doesn't want more blood. More blood goes to your body. And the things that you haven't processed, the emotions, the thoughts, they come up all at once so that you will keep yourself safe. This is what research is showing. And if you have ever inflicted wounding on a person, bless you, baby. Yay. What's happening for you as I'm talking?
I am busy inviting everyone I can to the show. So I'm kind of paying attention, but not 100%. So, but yeah, it's wounds. They are a challenge in relationships, in your dreams, what you want to, the courage to go out and pursue your biggest dreams.
Yes.
Those wounds are definitely obstacles to address, and there's so much out there now that we can do to heal.
Can I share your story of when you felt embarrassed, the pickle story?
Sure.
Or will you share the pickle story just briefly?
Sure. Which is so fun because I was just at my high school reunion back in October, and no one mentioned it. Funny enough, how traumatic it was for me, and no one remembered the pickle incident.
Yes.
So I went to this school. There was, 1,500 students there. And there was probably like 500 students in the lunchroom. And so at the end of lunch, I got up to bring my tray to the counter to drop it off, and there was a pickle on the floor. I didn't see it, but my foot landed on it, and just like stepping on ice, right back. And then not only did I go back and land on my butt, but the tray went way into the air, and it came down and made this super loud clash, rattle, bang. And then when I stood up, I was kind of like, oh, my back or my butt, whatever it was. And I looked around, and not a single person, all 500 people were looking at me like, and I was like, I forget if I was 10th or 11th. I don't think I was a senior. I was probably 10th or 11th. So I just sat down and were like, oh, stop looking at me. Please, everyone, stop looking at me. This is so embarrassing.
Yes.
So I think someone else took my tray up and I kind of like hobbled out of the.
I remember you shared that someone came and said, "Do you need a wheelchair?"
I was like, "No, I do not need a wheelchair. Please stop. Leave me alone. Don't do this anymore."
And
so, yes.
Years later, you would be sitting on a mountain or sitting with a beautiful girl.
Yeah, and then that memory would pop back up, and I'd turn flush red. I would be like reliving that moment as though it happened that day. So
that flush, and your body would hold the energy and limit what you might say or what you might share or what you might experience with another person, because that wounding experience, and that's a mild form, but years later it would come up and limit you. In studies done, college students studied, and they in labs, they were given an assignment to do or a game to play. And at the end of the assignment or the game, the researchers would say, "Oh my gosh, the way you did this assignment, you caused some student you don't know to lose 2 lottery tickets." And the control group wasn't told that. And a third group was like, "Job well done." The group that was told you caused another person to lose lottery tickets, when they were given the rewards for doing the study, they bought things like, with their reward money, notebooks and pens and socks. Those that were in the normal, given no feedback, bought themselves rewarding things like tickets to the movies or massages or jewelry. And those that were told good job definitely bought the things that were physically rewarding to them, the higher items that would give to them long term, the massages, the facials, the corrective things. When you feel guilty, in other words, when you feel wounded, you will self-punish yourself. Greg, with the guilt story, on a mountain in a great place, the embarrassment washing over his body would cause himself not to enjoy the current moment, or might buy himself socks rather than tickets to the movies. This guilt, this wounding, this shame, this depression or self-anger that you're holding is causing you to limit anything that you might be giving yourself, the advancement. The way to process wounds, anytime your heart is broken, they did studies, again, when your heart is broken, you often think that the reason for the breakup is complicated. It's complex because the emotions that you're feeling are complicated and complex. You almost go into an insanity about it if you don't have healthy ways of coping. If we have a physical wound, we will go get a Band-Aid. If it involves our arm, we'll go or our shoulder or a broken bone, we'll go get an x-ray, get it looked at, get someone qualified to look at it. With our teeth, we will brush them every day. If there's a pain or a hurt in our tooth, we'll go see someone to fix our teeth or solve that. But emotionally, the wounding, the secret medicine that's inside you, based on that, you will often hide in shame. You will often hide in guilt. You'll often limit what you're willing to give yourself. And these college students studied to see how they give to themselves. These college students, heartbroken college students, when they're heartbroken, it's like they will search every scenario of the experience that they shared with their love. When you're heartbroken about work, or you're heartbroken about a project, a failure, you will often turn on yourself and you will ruminate over and over again, or you will find a way to think it was if only that were different. And then you'll run that scenario and you'll change it. If only I'd gotten angry, if only I've gotten more hopeful. And what we know today is that your body only feels a cascade of emotions for about 2 minutes. Candace Pert and her work showed that if you are feeling something, you've got to train yourself to let it go. And the first step of being able to surrender is to answer the question, why did that happen to you? If it's an emotional wound, if it's a physical trauma, it's really getting the Band-Aid, the energy on it, and then going back and going, why did you have that experience? You've got to either work with someone that actually knows how to help you tune in to why things happen for you the way they do, or you've got to invent a reason. And either one will work in allowing you to heal it. every time you surrender something that you're suffering over to a reason that you've created or worked with someone on to arrive at, every time you do that, you heal yourself. You heal a little bit more of humanity. You let go of fear. Greg, with the pickle story, with being in lunchroom, being in a community, baby, how did that affect you long term?
I wouldn't say it affected me long term. I still went out and traveled the world and studied abroad and did all that stuff like that. But what I did notice is that whenever that memory did come up, it was very charged. And so, in a sense, the past was alive within me. And I knew at that point, through spiritual teachings that I'd been introduced to, that could be remedied, that I could withdraw the energy from those memories. And not just that one, but other ones that were more limiting.
And so
other wounds that were more limiting.
Because you've shared so openly about your divorce before, how going through a divorce and what that did from going from Minnesota to Nashville. If you'll just share that briefly, what that was like.
That did shut me down for a bit, a couple of years actually. Because when I moved to Nashville, right in the middle of it, we were separated, and we got divorced when I had been in Nashville. I didn't play out. I was very wounded by that. Wasn't my fully expressed, because I have a degree in theater. I'm very wow, gregarious, blah, blah, all that good stuff. But when I was first moved to Nashville, I was writing songs and I was learning songwriting, but I was not playing out. It was a couple of years into my journey that I actually started playing out.
And so that first part of getting it's not your fault, that divorce and going through the emotional experience of being wounded is not your fault. It's a collective of humanity. No one ever goes into a marriage thinking, wow, I'm going to hurt this person or I'm going to get divorced. Never happens. It's so extraordinary what winds up happening. For me, it was quite a lot of family trauma and quite a lot of old world traditions that led to me being wounded. And it shut me down in the area of receiving love, really, truly receiving love. And what's it like on the other side of really getting the help? And for you, Eckhart Tolle, the mentoring, the work, and you've got great videos, meditations.
Yeah, meditation was key.
Meditation was key. And you yourself produce meditations on YouTube under Greg Larsen, is that? And Living with Tolle on YouTube. Those meditations so helpful for getting into your body and getting into and releasing the past, releasing the wounding. When a woman goes through childbirth, she doesn't consider it the same way that it's the most painful thing that you can go through. But a woman, because she gets a baby and a couple, they're in producing this baby together, all of that journey, they surrender because there's meaning to that pain. The meaning to Greg's divorce, the meaning to my childhood traumas and my arranged marriage, near-death experiences, and eating and learning disorders, which were really coping mechanisms, a meaning given to that allows me and Greg to move forward and surrender it. Anything that you're going through, if you can find a meaning that gives to humanity, you can truly heal so much. Anything you want to add before we take callers?
And just on my journey, it was, seeking out spiritual wisdom, very important. Meditation, very important. I ended up teaching or facilitating, meditation experiences or teaching spiritual truths which helps to kind of bring that more into focus or more into, into it just clarifies it even more when you're able to teach. And then since I was doing a lot of meditation in groups, I think being in a group setting is very powerful for healing.
Being in a group setting is really powerful for healing. It's so important because the collective wounds of humanity heal together. It's this beautiful saying that it's only a small group of people that change the world. It's the only thing that ever has. And it's part of our mission within Miracle Makers Academy to really offer that community to help you and your soul recover so that what you want to give to the world comes through so clearly. Your soul's recovery is the recovery of your fullest expression of yourself. When you're in fear, you shut down parts of your brain. You shut down parts of your possibility. You shut down the best parts of you. When you're in surrender, when you decide, wow, I'm giving this pain isn't my fault. It came through me to wake the secret medicine within me up. It's such a profound gift that you give yourself and another.
Yes.
Yes. So beautiful. And Tony's in studio. Tony is helping us produce this. Today he's on the soundboard. Can we take the first caller? Wonderful. Welcome, caller. It's Dr. Sarah Larsen and Greg Larsen in studio for you. Miracle Maker, how can we help you?
Is this me?
It is you. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, I'm the very first caller and I'm totally stoked. I've been listening with rapt attention to all of your beautiful dialogue, marveling at the clarity and purity. What can you do for me? Well, surrender has always been difficult for me. I think I made some progress on it recently. My name is Russ. You might remember talking to me. You might not. You talk to so many people, but
Russ, I remember you. I'm so glad that you called in. So glad you made it. Yes. Go ahead.
I had trouble releasing a relationship I did not want to end, and I think I've made some progress, and it had to do with surrendering to what is, and I wrote this woman a long email that was completely void of anything angry or hurtful or hateful, and was really just an acknowledgement of the teaching and expression of gratitude. I never heard a reply, and I don't know if I ever will, so I don't know if she read it, but a friend of mine said it doesn't matter if she read it. What matters is you wrote it from a place of benign appreciation. So I think that's moving into surrender. I hope so.
I think that is definitely moving into surrender. And Russ, you've got to write this story of this relationship where you wind up being the hero in it. I'm going to say that another way. Much of the work that we've done, much of the work that you've done within this story, this beautiful person that you loved, that loved you, you showed up for, and there was a traumatic exchange between you two, and she ghosted you or stopped talking to you, even though you live in the same small town, the same small area, and you're in the same community, to never be acknowledged again by someone that your heart would have once done anything for, and probably still will do anything for, because of the purity of your love for her. If she ever reached out and needed help, you would still show up as the hero. You've got to give the rest of this story. It's so beautiful that you created a piece of poetry, is the way it comes across, to really acknowledge everything that she was for you. This piece of poetry, for it to really be surrender, you've got to see how you chose to give to her the option to never speak to you again on purpose. So that you could really, and I love Maya Angelou's, so that you will rise, that you can continue to rise in your consciousness, that no circumstance outside yourself will allow you to punish yourself from and allow you to disconnect from source or joy or love. So how can you rewrite this so that you're the hero of the story and exactly the way that she is?
Wow, the phone cut out on that very last little piece. How could I rewrite it so I'm the hero? And then what was the last part you just said,
So
please?
how you're the hero exactly the way that she is.
Wow. Wow. Well, the only thing I can think of to answer that well-crafted question would be if I literally never tried to speak to her or have anything to do with her again. I tried everything I could possibly think of to be a hero because I have this kind of hero complex.
Yes.
Including volunteering to come unload a ton of wood, firewood for winter, and she wants nothing to do with me. So I suppose to be, quote, a hero, I would have to be a non-hero and do nothing.
And really give her, like, part of your superpowers. You showed up. So to be the hero, never attempt to speak to her again. To be the hero, to really go, I loved this woman and I was really good at loving her. And that is enough for this hero to move forward and continue to rise. I will not use this story. I will not use how she is limited or how this relationship has been limited as a way to punish her or punish me. She's free to be exactly who she is, just the way she is. And I will be happy. I will be content. I will be fulfilled. I will be whole. I will go, this is the heroic act that I am to do and show up with at this moment.
Yes, I see what you mean, even though it might be something different later, but right now this is the heroic act.
This is the heroic act.
Is to do nothing.
Is to do nothing.
I marvel at your ability to hold that fact that doing nothing could somehow be heroic, because in my man world, I think of heroism as doing something.
Yes.
You have to do something.
And this is the part when our hearts are broken, we go into the scramble of insanity, and we make things mean something that they don't necessarily mean. And all of the healing humanity requires for the most heroic givers sometimes to do nothing. And be okay. Be like synergistic with what is a yes in your life. Flow. And every time the thought of this X comes in, or the wound within you gets initiated or activated, to do nothing except for to surrender it and to say, I was the hero in that. And the hero, the heroine, the one that I was rescuing required me to give them space, to back and let their energy flow. And my job is to let myself, how would I act if this was perfectly okay, just the way it was? If God had ordained it, or the universe had ordained it, how would I act if this was perfect and whole and complete and the way it was supposed to be? How would I act? And so you would act with joy, and you would act with compassion to everything and yourself especially. Russ, you've been punishing yourself over this quite a bit.
Yes, and I was quite insane for quite a while. I mean, months.
It's
scrambling.
It's not your fault is the first thing. There is an infinite wound within humanity around love and being loved and not being misunderstood. And by you not misunderstanding yourself, you keep the wound from propelling more. Don't misunderstand yourself anymore. You did the best you could. You were in integrity. There's nothing more you could have done. And
I cannot accept that I was in integrity. I've acted out a lot in the last half a year.
And the integrity part, when we are out of integrity, and this is how we get back into integrity. When you're out of integrity and you've hurt someone, you get back into integrity by saying, wow, what was expected was this. And I break up the word integrity into the nitty-gritty. So when you're in integrity, everything lines up in the nitty-gritty. So when you were out of integrity, you then say, listen, I was out of integrity. I was, whether it was not honest or whether it was rage or whether it was acting out, I was acting out. And the impact that had on us was we couldn't move forward. You couldn't trust me. You didn't feel safe. And I am so sorry. I apologize. And this is the steps that I'm taking to make sure it never happens again. The integrity work, doing the integrity component, no one else can do it for you. But Russ, you did it. You said over the last year, after the relationship, after it's been over, you've said, I was out of integrity. I was acting out. You acknowledged your observations of yourself. You groveled.
Yes.
You went into the most humblest of places. You then said, I'm putting these measures in place to make sure it never happens again. You got into the nitty-gritty of yourself and you fixed it.
Yes, I am fixing it right now. But the challenge I have as a man in the world is this thing about the stigma associated with surrender as weakness. It's like a synonym for weakness.
Surrender.
In my mental surrender means weakness.
Yes, surrender, vulnerability, and humility have often been associated with weakness. And yet water surrenders, is vulnerable, meaning it can turn into water, liquid, gas, whatever it needs to be. It changes
it can separate
itself.
instantly.
Yes.
But it's also immensely powerful.
And it's so powerful. And so because humanity is wounded, we've gotten it flipped. Only the humblest, only those that make themselves most vulnerable and those that surrender the most are the ones that lead. Think of Oprah. Oprah, so surrendered in the shows, right? So vulnerable, tearful. And I mean, it's so extraordinary, that surrender, the vulnerability and humility.
It's interesting to note how massively she's been rewarded on multiple levels because of her authenticity and vulnerability. I mean, with fame and massive fortune.
Yes.
She's worshipped by tens of millions.
Yes, and it's what is required. Nature is self-correcting. That's why she's revered. That's why so many look to her. You then go to Mother Teresa. Again, humble, vulnerable, and really, really surrendered. One of the most powerful, Princess Diana, still making change from where she was. You look at men as well that really, truly surrender themselves, are transparent, are vulnerable, and they're the ones that we look up to most. And so I think of Wayne Dyer. I think of spiritual teachers like Wayne Dyer, Alan Watts, and oh gosh, just so many of even Tesla, the wisdom, Albert Einstein, most vulnerable, shared what was going on with him, was humble, transparent. Such an important.
That's very true. He was a very humble man.
Yes, very, very, and that whole surrendered. He knew what was happening as well. He took movement. He moved out of places so that he could really serve humanity. Nature is self-correcting. And Russ, I love you so much for calling in.
I have some for Russ
yes.
too. Hey Russ, how's it going?
Greg.
Say, I got something for you.
I'm doing well.
Oh, good. I have something for you here. You know, when I got divorced, it was 3 or 4 years later. Actually, I was still in contact with my ex-wife, although she had moved on and married someone else. But I went back in the summer of 2003 to Minnesota. And I had my guitar and my collection of breakup songs and woe is me songs and divorce songs from writing in Nashville. And so I spent the day with my ex-wife and her new husband and a bunch of their friends, and I played all these songs, shared all this emotion, I was in tears almost the whole time doing all of this. And I shared all this, and at the end of the day, they were saying goodbye to me at the car, and then I watched them walk away. And I watched them turn to each other and kiss as they were holding hands, and they continued walking away. And it hit me so hard at that moment. I didn't realize it until that moment that I'm no longer responsible for caring for her, for protecting her. Because I think as men, we take on this, we commit when we're in a relationship that we're going to protect and care for this person. And at that moment, I was released from protecting her and caring for her at that level. And then 2 weeks later, I met Sarah.
Wow. So that whole process with those two people was part of a completion process.
That my journey was complete with that relationship.
I'm so impressed they let you visit with them and sing all those songs.
Yes, yes. Whatever it was, that was the gift they gave me. Yes, So
That's
I would
an awesome story.
I would encourage you to look and see if that's coming up for you. If there's still this like underlying need to, care for her, to protect her at that level,
Yes.
like as the masculine wanting, you pledged to her when you were together that you would protect and care for her. And now that you're no longer together, if that's still lingering, if that's keeping you from moving on,
Yes.
and if there's some way
It
you can, see that she is taken care of, she is safe, she is protected, and that's no longer your responsibility.
I do have some of that lingering, and I appreciate you sharing that story to highlight this dynamic.
You're so welcome. I could
Yes.
feel it. I could feel that within you as I felt it within myself. I could feel that within you as you were sharing.
Interesting.
So
Nice to know there's folks out there driving with such a clean windshield.
Yes, yes. And literally 2 weeks later, I met Sarah.
You mean like just by seemingly random?
Yeah, we just met at a concert in the parking lot of a huge outdoor concert, a sea of people.
You met this gem of a female creature in a parking lot?
At the Titans football stadium in Nashville, Tennessee, y'all.
As I said to you a couple months ago, fortune has smiled down right upon you, my brother.
Yes, it has. But that was the key part of that, though, was that what had happened 2 weeks prior was really just like a total shift in every cell of my body, that I was no longer responsible for this person.
Like you had been unchained or cleansed.
Yes, released. Yep.
Wow. Well, you will never forget that parking lot for at least the rest of this lifetime and maybe the next one.
Yes, forever grateful. Forever grateful for that whole journey. Yes.
No.
Yep.
What a marvelous story.
Thank you. Yeah, well, that's what happened.
Well, I'm happy for you that the orchestrators guided this marvelous woman right towards you in that ocean of people in a giant parking lot.
Yes, exactly.
it's an amazing journey.
Yes.
Russ, thank you for calling in.
Yes.
We can't wait to hear from you again. We're looking forward to it. Thank you.
Super nice to talk to you. What a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, Russ.
Bye for now. Tony, let's go ahead and take the next call. Welcome, caller. Can you hear it? Hi, it's
Hello?
Hi, who are we speaking with?
Hi, Sarah. This is Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
It's a pleasure to speak with you.
Same here. What can we answer for you?
Well, first, I got to tell you, it is divinely aligned that I'm speaking with you right now. I opened up my computer, and the very first thing I saw was your show that happened to be on my Facebook. And so I thought, wow, I should probably keep watching this. And so we have some mutual friends, although you and I have never spoken. Some close friends of yours are close friends of mine. So it's nice to speak to you directly.
Welcome, Aaron. We're so glad that you're here.
So thank you. It's great to be here. So my situation, about 15 months ago, I was injured, which left me currently experiencing paraplegia and paralysis. So that is something that I have been working through for the past 15 months now. And with that opened up tremendous amounts of change and transformation in my life in many other ways as well. I'm also currently going through a divorce, which was not happening before my injury. And so I have been learning a tremendous amount about trust and surrender and gratitude and all of these things. And here I sit, still very focused on my healing. And although Western medicine is going to look at my injury and say, here's your wheelchair, have a nice life, I am entirely sure, confident and positive that I can heal. And although it's a blunt trauma that happened, I know that it is all stemming from an energetic core. And so this is where I continue to learn to surrender and continue to trust and continue to work and do the therapy, going deep within myself. And again, first thing I see is your show talking. I should call in and talk to you.
I'm
so
so
that's
glad
my
that you
situation.
did. I'm so glad that you did. And it's so important that I love the way that you have framed and spoken about what's the circumstances around you. I really want to give you the solutions to what's coming up to allow the greatest good that can come through your body and the greatest level of recovery. So in the East, in India, in even Egypt, in Hippocrates medicine, there's so many instances of full recovery. And we know even through traumatic brain injuries, stroke injuries, the brain can regenerate itself completely. And all of the, any part of you that's severed has the potential to really, and there's so many stories. The Institute of Noetic Sciences has over 1 million documented spontaneous healings, including paraplegia within it, spontaneous. How do you cause that on purpose? And this is for you and not necessarily for everyone else, but you're a vivid dreamer. The dreams that you have at night and the waking dreams that are possible for you. So do you want to just tell me a little bit about you and dreams?
It's unbelievable that you asked me that, because literally last night, I had the most clear lucid dream I've ever had in my life. And I was there was a lot of different things happening in this dream, but this one part, I was in a house, and I looked in the mirror, and I saw that I was completely clean shaven, and that my hair was cut. And currently, I'm not that. I have a big beard, and my hair is kind of long. And so I was looking in the mirror, and I said, I don't remember shaving. When did I shave? And I said, well, if I didn't shave, this must be a dream. And I thought, I'm dreaming. Am I dreaming right now? And I said, I can't be. Is this actually a dream? And then I started walking, and I could feel the weight of space, and I could see the sort of trickle of perception in it. And I was like, wow, this is a dream. I'm actually dreaming right now. And I was walking through the hallways and kind of starting to figure out, well, what can I do in the dream? Now that I'm in this dream, how can I make the most of it? And then I woke up a little bit. So I didn't have the opportunity to extend that lucid perception.
So your body is literally repairing itself so that you can walk in your lucid dreaming. That's when your body most repairs itself. And there's ways to really induce that for yourself, but that's your particular route to being able to heal yourself. And again, I love that you started with, we haven't spoken before, so that you know this communication is coming from the most profound space to be able to really connect you back into the ability of your body healing itself. And there are millions of people just undocumented in allopathic medicine, and making sure that emotionally, that you wind up being supported during the day. So there's a lot of energy around you that wants to help, and to really be able to be very specific in what kinds of help you need during the day. And then at night, it's really helping you induce those, coming into those, literally your body will heal in its dreams. And there's ways to work together to create the guided meditations, the real-time wakeful dreaming states, the lucid dreaming states, and you will start feeling sensations, and your body's telling me that you're feeling sensations in certain places. Is that feedback on? Oh, if you turn down the other whatever you're listening to us on.
Oh, sure. Is this better?
That's better. Thank you.
Okay.
So.
Sure.
So let me say that another way. It's so important that you bring yourself to that this being in a wheelchair feels like a dreamlike state as well. And you begin merging your daytime and your sleep time into where your body is in theta waves or gamma waves. And it's easier, it's simple to do, but it's not necessarily easy to implement.
And this is really wonderful. Thank you. What are some of the ways to do it? We've formulated Miracle Makers Academy because after a conversation with me anywhere around the world, people have wanted to stay in contact, and we've wanted to be able to help them. And it's $10 a month. And we've got all of these guided meditations. Literally anyone can join from anywhere around the world, $10 a month. And we talk weekly within Miracle Makers Academy. And so it's not just this one-time connection. And Russ is part of Miracle Makers Academy. There's so many people, and I would love for you to join. And if you need help or anything from us, please email us when we're done at miraclemakersacademy.com. There's a contact page there because we'd love to help you. But the most important thing is not to get or put inflaming foods that inflame your body or do nerve damage into your body, and to really be mindful of self-depriving, self-healing language and thoughts. In other words, it's so important not for you to get inflamed as you're regrowing your tissue mass, all of the tissues coming back in, because there is limited flow in particular areas. It's your mind, body, spirit connection has to be so self-loving towards you. Makes a lot of sense. Is there any specifics that you can give about those inflaming foods, beyond, spicy, things like that you would absolutely, maybe the highest ones would absolutely avoid?
Anything that comes out of a box, can, frozen, anything that I would eliminate.
Okay.
Anything that is coming in plastic or estrogens, or and so this really means well cooked foods with so greens. All of the foods that you eat have to be well cooked so that your digestive tract doesn't have to work hard to digest food, and it lets the rest of your body heal. So literally no crackers, nothing with wheat or nothing that doesn't grow in nature. And then what grows in nature, to really cook it well, and then to add elements of things like lemon juice or avocado or olive oils, really healthy fats on top of it. So
Gotcha.
well-cooked food with like 80% really well-cooked, 20% of like little cilantros and microgreens with lemon or olive oil, 20% in that direction, that give you the cooked food is the nutrition delivery system for the raw foods that are alive and have just recently, like cilantro grows within a couple days. It's got the most nourishing components within it to eat, to regrow your system. And there's a lot more, but please join Miracle Makers. I'd love for you to continue to be able to heal. And yes, baby, anything you want to add?
Well, Kathy asked about what about beans?
Beans, no beans.
No beans.
No beans. You want to get, again, the easiest to digest, unless they're sprouted beans, and you've soaked them for about 3 days and washed them and processed them. There's and I think on our website we've got a page about how to work with legumes, really to wash them and to be able to use them. But there's so many components, and we are our own best pharmacy. When we're not needing to clean out a whole bunch of toxins that might have come in food, might have come in cosmetics or things for our skin, we are our best pharmacy. And your skin is part of that. To have it dry brushed, have your body touched, oils applied to that. Again, there's so much that you're already doing, is what your body's telling me. And for you to really make sense of the story for yourself, the process that you're going through right now is really, really important. So on the emotional level, there's a great deal of self-love around it.
Wow. It's really powerful. The one last question, if I can, just about the food. Is that no animal product, dairy, fish, anything, or is any of that potentially aligned?
So the way that, and so tuning into your body, what are you doing right now?
So I am predominantly vegan, vegetarian. After the injury, I started to introduce animal products because I was so depleted of muscle and fat. So I consider myself a non-practicing vegan. I have found, though, that my body has responded very well to incorporating oily fish,
Yes.
salmon, mackerel, tuna, stuff like that, so that I have sometimes, very, very, very rarely will I have beef or pork. Sometimes eating chicken, especially off the bone, the ligaments and things like that, feels pretty good, but that's kind of rare. But for the most part, it's vegan vegetarian.
So, and this is, so the ones that heal best in this have to go with their own body. I'm going to say this another way. It's so important that you continue to listen to your body. And the fish and anything that comes out of the ocean is quite healing for us. Seaweed, all of the fish. And my husband is a practicing vegan. I'm a practicing mostly vegan. I still have eggs because I've got a body disorder. I've got thalassemia minor. And so on occasion, I've got to take in those products. And this part of, you're going to dream about what you need to eat. And as you're regenerating different parts of yourself to really get the stuff that you feel best about in animal products as well. So, and I'm bone broth is probably one of the most healing items because our body needs the micro minerals within bone broth.
Mm-hmm.
So
that was kind of what got me out of the veganism, was starting with bone broth when I was in the hospital. Yeah.
And the part that shows up so strong for you is around eating a whole animal. So this is your body talking to me now. Says if you get a whole entire chicken or a whole entire thing, whether it's turkey or fish, or it's a whole animal, eating the whole thing start to finish, including organ meat. And there's a wholeness to that. So whether you go to or order a whole chicken or a whole turkey, and you cook the whole thing with the intent, with gizzards and all, for your healing in your body, it's really important for you.
Interesting. Thank you. This is really phenomenal. I really appreciate this, you guys. And if I can end with the final question to the whole thing to allow space for others, I'm very grateful for this. I'm absolutely going to join the Miracle Academy. There's no way I can't after this, the way this all came out. Is there any last piece of advice that you can give in terms of maybe specifically for me or in general, but going into beyond the meditations that are available, getting ready for the dream space, getting ready for sleep, getting ready to allow that healing, what I can do to create the most conducive environment for that?
It's self-communication. And you've got to really go back into trusting yourself. You trust yourself so much, and the recent events have sort of shaken your trust, and you're in your inner communication with yourself. And so that inner communication with yourself is the most important aspect of this. You've overcome some of the harshest conditions that you put yourself through in the past. They were challenging, and you did it. And so for you to you will get balanced in your body, in your mind, your spirit with your communication. It's so important for you to be able to communicate with yourself.
Right.
So your inner dialogue has to say, trust this, trust yourself, trust your listening, trust me. And your higher self has taken over so many times, and to continue to allow that.
Great. So I hear in that trusting, the answers will be revealed. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say. It's when you don't trust yourself is when you go, even though there's other advisors around you and people working with you, your self-trust going this and this energy of this too shall pass. This too shall pass. Just trust. Keep trusting. Keep trusting that secret medicine inside you.
Great. Thank you so much. It's such a joy to connect with you both. Really appreciate this time, and I'd love to keep chatting, but we'll find another time for it. And thank you. I look forward to staying connected, and much love and appreciation to you both.
Much love and appreciation.
Thank you.
Yay. Thank you so much. I think we're at 111. So the 111, we see spiritual numbers, that synergy. Thank you, Miracle Makers, for staying with us. So many of you did, and we will be back next week. We love you so much. And we will continue the conversation on Facebook in the comments.
Lots of comments today.
Right,
Lots
on
of people.
YouTube and on all of the ways that you find us. Thank you, Tony, for UBN and
Yes.
Sunset Gower Studios. Thank you, baby.
Oh, my love. I'm so glad I could be here today to share in this miracle energy.
Yes. Oh, so beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Miracle Makers. We love you. Bye
Bye-bye.
for now. Woohoo!
The past is history, the future mystery. This moment